Hello and welcome to another episode of Wear Many Hats. I'm your host, Mark Robinson. Absolute pleasure to have you all with us today. It's going to be a great show. We've got a guest that operates in an area that we haven't really had on the show before, which is absolutely fantastic. He's joined us today looking a little bit like Freddie Mercury Jr. because he is raising money for Movember. And I'll tell you something, he has done a really good job with that moustache. We're joined today by Ali Maciver, who is the Technical Services Manager at Knight Frank Promise. All right, Ali?
How you doing, Mark? All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really good.
Good to be here.
All I wanted to say was, let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah, there is a definite Hulkamaniac thing going on, but so it's really about making sure that people are aware of men's health problems and the rising the rising number of cases in men's suicide is the kind of aim of behind the My Movember page.
Okay.
But yeah. So it's quite a subject close to my heart kind of thing. So
well, it's a pertinent topic at the minute. Men's mental health and the support functions that are available to them. And so, congratulations, well done for supporting such a great cause. Do you have a number that you're looking to reach?
I'm trying to raise £250 within the month,
right?
And I think that's quite reasonable a reasonable target. I didn't want to go $2,500.
Well, I think based on that tash, you should. It's a good effort.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah,
good stuff. Okay, well, listen. Thanks for joining us today, Ali.
My pleasure.
I like to start the podcast with a really easy question. What's the most interesting thing you've done today in terms of your work?
Oh, today? Well, I'm currently going through my NEBOSH General Certificate.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I haven't passed it yet, but...
well, even going through it, it's a big ordeal, so it's a big thing to do. So.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. It's something that Knight Frank Promise like to develop people.
Right. Yep.
And they've invested in that for myself and the rest of my building management team currently. So
fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, really good.
Okay, let's start with the beginning of your career, Ali, because I see that you're a fellow sailor.
I am indeed, sir.
You are. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, way back when, many years ago now.
Yeah.
I started off in the Merchant Navy.
Yep.
On cruise ships, actually.
Oh, a few stories then.
Well, a couple of 3 stories to tell, So I started off then, and it was a fantastic grounding within engineering.
Yep.
Because you get exposed to everything.
Right.
A lot of people say there's no such thing as 50-50.
Yeah.
I completely disagree.
Okay.
Within the Merchant Navy, you get exposed to the electrical side of things, you get exposed to the mechanical side of things, and you get exposed to the environmental aspect as well with regards to, because it was a cruise ship, obviously, we had passengers. So from a facilities management standpoint, that was my kind of real opening into that.
That's quite interesting how that links in, actually, because I didn't actually think about it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a hotel on its side, right?
Yeah,
and that's the way that we used to talk about it. It was a hotel on its side. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the Royal Navy, so they just did not care if we were comfortable. They weren't bothered.
We had our own cabins, Mark. Well, because we were in the engineering division, it was we were classed as officers,
right?
So I had to wear the dicky bow and the epaulets and all that kind of stuff.
Right, okay. Come on, you enjoyed that.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If there were smartphones, you'd have been taking selfies.
Unfortunately, I don't know if it was unfortunately or fortunately, there was no such thing as smartphones at the time, but yeah. No, it was a great grounding in engineering, and it kind of set me up for the rest of my career,
Right,
really
okay. So and you were how long were you in the Merchant Navy?
So I was there for 5 years.
That's a long time, actually.
Well, yeah, it is when you're a young man.
Yeah.
I went there when I was 19.
Oh wow!
And then came out when I was 24.
Right.
Based on the love of a woman, as they say.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's the main reason we all leave our vacations.
Well, indeed. I don't know if it's a wise thing or not, Mark, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So obviously from there you were a marine engineer for 5 years, which gave you that really good grounding.
Absolutely.
In terms of technical services. You then moved on to a company called Cleek, are you?
Yeah, so it was. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I came out of the Merchant Navy. I was I was kind of searching for something to do.
Yeah.
And the opportunity came up to go with a company called Clico,
Right.
who were materials handling.
Okay.
They used to do like narrow aisle cranes and things like that for order picking.
Oh, okay. That's what, like in distribution centres?
In warehousing and distribution,
right? Okay.
yeah. So, but they did all kinds of things, but anything to do with lifting and materials handling. That was their forte.
Right.
So I was there for about 2 years.
Right.
I seconded into a company called Excel Logistics.
Right.
And that was basically the old Kodak warehouse in Hemel Hempstead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the contract with them was with Kodak.
Yeah.
And that was the time when we still had, and I'm sure the younger listeners won't understand what this is, but we had film and cameras.
And when we used to go boots and
exactly,
we used to have to wait.
I know.
3 days, 4 days for pictures.
I know. That was the warehouse that I worked in there.
Right.
And again, that gave me a really good understanding of just in time. That kind of methodology where, from a production standpoint, you go from the production facility into the warehousing facility into the distribution facility.
Right.
So that gave me a really good grounding in that particular avenue. And then from there, I went to Heathrow Airport.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was in Heathrow Airport for about 7 years.
Wow. What were you doing there?
So that was the baggage handling.
Right.
And it's the bit that people don't see and don't normally
I
get.
imagine that's like Spaghetti Junction in there as well.
It's monstrous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely monstrous. And I started off in Terminal 1 at Heathrow, and they had these massive sortation units for bags.
Yeah.
If you think about a Skelestric,
Yeah.
it's kind of like an oval Skelestric with just big wooden trays that take one bag at a time.
Wow.
And it would sort it into the destinations.
Yeah.
And all these chutes would come down, and then the baggage handlers would take them.
Yeah.
And then put them onto those little trains that you see going out to the aeroplanes. So
Yeah.
that was really interesting.
Right.
And then.
So were you kind of maintaining them then?
Yeah. So I was. Yeah. I started off there as just a technician.
Right.
And I kind of really grabbed onto it with both hands. And within the space of 6 months, I was a senior technician.
Oh, right.
And then within the space of a year, I was a team leader.
Wow.
So that was the kind of the progression phase of my career where I said, right, I really want to make something.
So that kind of took you into your first foray into management then?
Absolutely.
Right.
100%, yeah. So, although it was junior management, there was teams of 12 and 15 people to look after.
But that's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. And I think I was, 25, 26 years old. So it was
right.
It was a lot of responsibility on
quite young shoulders.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was thoroughly enjoyable. Although the 12-hour shifts 4 on 4 off wasn't enjoyable.
Right. Okay. What, you don't like 4 on 4 off?
I don't like 4 on 4 off.
Some people love it.
I know, but you never get into that rhythm.
Yeah. Was it days and nights?
It was days and nights, yes.
So like 1 week days, 1 week nights.
Correct.
Yeah,
so you had 4 days on and 4 days off, 4 nights on, 4 nights off. But the 4 nights off, you eat into your first day off.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, it was kind of difficult to get into that circadian rhythm, as they call it.
Right. Okay.
So I was Terminal 1. I was there for about a year in Terminal 1, and then I went into the transfer tunnel, and there was a tunnel underneath Heathrow that went from Terminal 1 to Terminal 4.
Right.
So that was your interconnecting flights.
Oh, really?
They had these things called telecarts, and they would travel down this tunnel at 35 miles an hour.
Really?
It was honestly, the things that you don't see are the things that are the most interesting, right?
Yeah.
And these things would shoot down this tunnel, 1/4 of a mile long, and I think it would take about, 6 minutes to get from one end to the other. These were like hurtling along. But it was amazing to see.
Was that all automated then?
All automated, yeah.
Really?
All automated, yeah. And all off barcode scanners. Yeah. So and then I went from Terminal 4 tunnel up to Terminal 4 main terminal baggage, and I did that for about 3 years, I think. And then I said, look, my ex-wife. My now ex-wife was pregnant with our eldest boy.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like it was. Oh, I've grown up now. You know what I mean? I need to move to the next level.
You can't mess about now. Yeah,
Can't mess about now.
No,
So the change was, and that's why I kind of like my career, because it's varied.
Yeah.
The change was I went from that, from merchant navy into materials handling.
Yeah.
And then I completely reversed it, and I went into the food industry.
Really?
Yeah. So
right.
And that was my first senior management role.
Yeah.
Or middle management role, I would say.
Right.
And I moved back to Scotland. So,
okay.
Whereabouts? Yeah. So up to the Highlands in just outside Inverness.
Right. Okay. Is that where you're from?
That's where I'm originally from. Yeah. And we went up there, and we had our eldest boy, and then my now ex-wife was pregnant with our second.
Right. Okay.
So there was a whole load of stuff going on: changing career, changing house, new.
That is a lot, though.
Massive.
I think people will understand that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realise that when you've got that amount of change going on in your life, it can quickly turn into a depression.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that if you don't have a handle on it, you can quickly get into that kind of spiral going down.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, but so I mean, we went up to Scotland, and I was the engineering manager for a salmon processing plant.
Right.
That was and it was honestly, it was really, really interesting understanding the processing and the production line.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was only a small place. We processed about 25 tons a day.
Right.
Of salmon. Right?
Yeah.
And that's in an 8-hour shift.
Right.
So 25 tons. It's a lot.
Oh God,
it's a lot of fish.
Yeah.
And we were doing smoked salmon, and again the smoking process is very technical.
Yeah.
And you have to cure the fish, and then you have to put them into this automatic kiln, and then you've got the smokers that are automated. You've got the fans go back and forth. You have to understand the timings. Again, very, very technical, very, very in depth.
Yeah.
And very interesting.
Right.
I was there. I lasted in the food industry for 10 years.
Oh wow.
And then the ultimate joy happened, and I got divorced.
Yeah. Did you have a party?
It was party to end all parties. It was. But yeah, so then I moved back down south. I came back down, and I went back into the materials handling industry.
Right.
With a company called SSI Schaefer.
Okay.
And we opened the first ever Sainsbury's online fulfillment centre.
Really? Right.
Yes, in Bromley by Bow.
Right.
And it was new technology. It was little order pickers. They were fully automated. They were basically robots.
Yeah.
On tracks. So I did that for about 2 years, and then I met my first ever mentor at that point.
Right.
Which and mentorship is something that's quite important to me.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I really do believe helps not just you as an individual, but the person that you're mentoring.
Yeah. So it's been a significant thing in your career.
Massive. It's been massive, Mark.
Do you want to name check anybody?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It was the first time I actually worked for a female.
Right.
And her name was Rihanna Casey.
Yeah. And
this was this was my first foray into FM, like real-time FM.
Yeah.
And that was with Jones Lang LaSalle, JLL.
Right.
And she was a massive influence on me, huge, especially in my management style.
Yeah.
And how to deliver.
Yeah.
She was like massively on deliver.
Yeah. So what about that individual really resonated with you in terms of? Well, because obviously you'd had quite a long career by that point.
Yeah, sure.
So what within that individual and how they operate, like made something tick in your head, I suppose.
I think it was the zest for being professional.
So the enthusiasm.
The enthusiasm was massive,
right.
and infectious.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was something that I really took on board.
Yeah.
I really, really took on board, and she actually took me under her wing.
Right.
For the 18 months that we worked together.
Yeah.
And she now Chicago.
Oh, right.
With JLL, and she's a group executive.
Okay.
So she's like top.
She's done all right.
She's done. I mean,
she's done all right.
She's done massively all right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
She's not doing too bad.
No, she gives it a dust off the shoulders kind of thing. But So I mean, she was massive, and that particular job was mobilising Amazon sortation.
Right,
and it was the largest Amazon sortation centre in the world at the time.
And where was that?
That was in Grain, in Kent.
Right, okay.
And it was
because sortation is different to distribute. Am I right in saying that?
Well, So I mean, so Amazon had the 3 miles,
right?
So you had the fulfillment, which was mile 1. So that was orders placed into trucks, and then mile 2, the middle mile, which we always said was the most important mile, of course, right? Was the sortation,
right? And
then you had the distribution,
right? Okay,
which they classed as the final mile.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, and we were, at peak, we were sorting about 500,000 parcels a day.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
It is.
And it was, but that again was my first kind of involvement with soft services.
Right.
Right. Because prior to that was entirely engineering.
Yeah.
And my eyes were open to the world of soft services during that particular part of my career.
Right.
And it was something that I really found enjoyable. When, that mixture of hard and soft services.
Yeah.
Because the title at the time was facilities manager.
Yeah.
Right. So, but having to deal with that soft services side, which is far more, it's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
When you've come from that kind of, right, it's broken, fix it.
Yeah.
Kind of, that's
that
the
mentality. Yeah.
But then, so, and I was there for, I would say 2 years.
Right.
And then I got the opportunity then to go to the sister company of JLL, which is Integral.
Right.
Which is, again, it's the hard services side.
Mm.
But again, having been opened up to the soft services side, it gave me that, I suppose a bit of an oxymoron, but it gave me the soft edge.
Yeah.
Right, which I didn't have before because I was very black and white. Soft services is grey.
Well, it's all people, isn't it?
You know what I
mean? Whenever you're dealing with people, it's
totally different. It's a totally different mindset. And I took the opportunity to go with Integral. I had other offers on the table to go elsewhere, but the Integral one really kind of caught my eye. Rihanna's replacement, a guy called Lee Siddons.
Right.
He was influential in that.
Right.
And he said, you'll really enjoy this. It's critical environments. I didn't know what critical environments were.
Yeah. Was that still like in an Amazon arena? Or
No. So this was now with Royal Bank of Canada.
Oh, wow.
100 Bishopsgate. So
okay.
So I'd mobilised the Amazon site.
Yeah.
And this was now mobilising the Royal Bank of Canada building.
Right.
Proper building services, right?
Wow. So that kind of took you into that world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it was a real eye opener.
Mm.
Again, I think every stage of my career, my eyes have been opened wider and wider.
Yeah.
I should have eyes like Gollum now, you know what I mean? So I mean...
Instead of a moustache like that.
Yeah. Let me tell you this, brother. When I went to that role, again, it was shell and core, right?
Yeah.
So there was nothing in the building. So it was watching that grow from that concrete jungle into a real live working environment that people live in and people work in.
Yeah.
And obviously the critical environment side was again taught me so much because critical environment's been like data centers and financial industries and all that kind of stuff. And understanding that if you lost power for like 30 seconds, that could cost billions of pounds.
Yeah.
Billions. And you're sitting there going, wow, that's a hell of a responsibility to have on your shoulders.
It is actually, isn't it? When you think about it.
When you think about it, you're going, right, okay, but that really was a 7-day-a-week job.
Yeah.
You couldn't rest.
Did you ever get slightly overwhelmed at any point by that?
Massively.
By that
Massively.
responsibility?
Yeah, and again, I'll come back to the mental health thing.
Yeah.
You know, that because us as men, we don't talk about it, and we never ever ask for help.
Especially those northern ones.
You know what I mean? You know, we don't even ask for directions.
That's not to say southern ones don't.
No,
that's not what I mean.
Let's not cut that divide there.
No.
But you know, don't even ask for directions as men, right?
Because we don't need to. We've got sat navs built in. What are you talking about?
It's a built-in sat nav. Yeah, I know.
I know you don't, Ali, because you got lost last week.
But, well, exactly. But you know, so but you know, I was. There was points during that I was really struggling.
Yeah,
and you know that was the time where I met a guy called Paul Rayner,
right,
and another guy called Tom Pound,
right.
The
Pound,
the Pound. You've heard of the Pound, right? You've heard of the Pound.
I've heard of the Pound.
Oh, right, yeah. So you know, and the Pound could be an intimidating person, by the way.
Yeah.
But he really does support me through quite a difficult period,
right?
You know, again, that mentorship piece, right? There's another mentor for me was Tom Pound.
Yeah,
he was a very methodical kind of guy. But you know, once you broke that down, he was a little sweetheart. You know.
Yeah, but I mean that's, you know, obviously I was joking there, but
no, of course,
you know, quite a serious subject.
It is.
You know, I mean I've, you know, had challenges throughout my life in terms of mental health and had to go through certain things. And I think that you're right. You know, I think our generation isn't necessarily the best at asking for support.
No.
Or even there wasn't really support about. You know, but
absolutely.
But what's quite nice, it sounds lovely to me that you had that support within work, and that they were able to help and guide you through what was a difficult period, during your career.
I mean, you probably saw me there just now, just crossed my arms, right? Because, but that's part and parcel of it, right?
Because it is. Yeah,
it's a subject that's close to my heart.
Yep.
But it's also a subject that not enough people speak about.
I agree.
And especially in like you said it, our generation, where you know where men were men, and you know you suck it up, buttercup, and all that kind of thing. That those were the words that you'd hear.
Well, that's what we were told.
Exactly.
You know, and I think
exactly.
And I do. It's a challenge. I don't know if it'll ever be a challenge that's dealt with properly, or I don't even know if you can.
Well,
it's really.
I think that's
really hard.
That's the difficult thing, and I think that's the reason why you know I'll support Movember.
Yeah.
And all those kind of movements.
Yeah.
You know, to bring awareness to it, because you know when you suffer through things like that.
Yeah.
And it is a suffering.
Yeah.
When you suffer through things like that, and you come out the other side, and you think, well, why didn't I ask for help? Why didn't I say, hold my hand up and say, look, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Right? Because it sometimes it takes somebody else to see it and notice it and say, and that's what happened with me.
I agree.
Is that you know, Tom noticed it and he said, you need help.
Yeah.
And of course, me being the hard Scottish fella.
Yeah.
Said,
I'm from the islands. I don't. What are you
talking what are you talking about? I'm fine. That's not the case.
The bravado. It's the bravado.
Pure bravado.
Yeah.
And so you know, again, I'll come back to the mentorship again and again and again, because those people really make a difference in lives, and they don't get enough kind of flag waving and saying, look, we should hold this up and as an example to others, you know.
Yeah.
Which is what I've taken from it is to be able to give support to those around me. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, everyone has a bad day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, everyone's going to have those days. But again, I come back to Rihanna, Tom, Paul Rayner was another guy who taught me a lot about critical environments and how difficult it is to manage that from a management level.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult environment to be in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from that, I learned an awful lot.
Yeah.
About myself.
Yeah, yeah.
First and foremost, is that I can say, no. I can say no, right? I can say no.
Yeah.
No, let's stop, take stock and move forward.
Yeah.
Whereas the kind of the people pleasing in me would be, oh, yeah, I can do that. Oh, yeah, I can do that. And then before you know it, you're overloaded.
You got too much on. You feel that tightness in your chest.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
I get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't sleep.
Yeah.
And you don't eat.
Yeah.
You know, and
eating's never really been a problem.
Well, you can see from me, you know what I mean. But you can see I got over it.
We're not overweight, as my mum tells me. We're good-sized men.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
I'm a good-sized man. That's all I say.
You can't cuddle a skinny log bait.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, so that was Royal Bank of Canada, which again was like a massive kind of eye opener for me in that thing.
Yeah.
And then Josh Slade, who was my kind of protege, I took him under my wing when we were at Amazon together.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And I know Josh has done a podcast with you guys.
He has, which will be released. I don't know, probably before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before this one. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, you've all probably listened to it.
Yeah. You probably know Josh already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, so Josh, I took him under my wing at Amazon, and again, I tried to be the mentor that other people had shown to me.
Yeah.
In a reflective sense, and you know, give him support and all that kind of stuff. And he followed me onto the Royal Bank of Canada,
right?
As like an assistant account manager role, and he really flourished, did Josh.
Right.
He was a young man.
Yeah,
and he's now an associate with Mapletree, which is incredible.
Yeah, for
a 27-year-old man.
Oh yeah,
really incredible.
Good guy as well.
Yeah, really.
Big shout out to Josh. Good guy.
Yeah, big shout out to Josh. So again, that mentorship, I try to bring that to the fore any time I can.
But that's quite good though, isn't it? Like you saw something that helped and benefited you
Absolutely.
in your career, and you're trying to offer that same support to people that work either for you or with you in other environments, 100%. Which is lovely.
100%, and I'll come on to where I am now, obviously, which is Knight Frank Promise, and again, that was another new mobilisation.
Yeah.
So there you go, right? But I came on.
I'm seeing a trend.
Yeah, I know. It shouldn't really be like that, but that's just the way it happened.
It's good though. I mean, there's clearly a specific set of skills that you have that obviously fit that environment.
I think so, Mark. I think it's that being able to think on your feet.
Yeah.
And again, I'll come back to my Merchant Navy days when you have to think on your feet.
Yeah. Well, unless you're falling over.
Yeah, exactly. And that happened quite a few times, really.
Usually when the guests have gone to bed.
We'll say no more about that.
Yeah, keep that quiet. This is a PG show.
But yeah, so Knight Frank Promise, I went for the interview with Jason Taylor, who I think you know quite well.
Jason Taylor has been mentioned on this podcast more times.
How many times? Yeah, so there was Jason Taylor and Tom Devine.
Yeah.
Who did my initial interview.
We met Tom today, actually.
Tom's a great guy.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get him on the podcast as well.
So. Yeah, you got to get him on.
Yeah, really nice.
Tom's superb.
Yeah.
And Tom's my director.
Right.
And I was employed as the first technical services manager for Knight Frank Promise, which is
really,
which is something I'm very proud of that. I'm really, really proud of that.
And you should be.
Which is so that's.
So just to sort of delve into that a little bit.
Sure.
So when you say that you were employed as the first technical services manager for Knight Frank Promise, what does that mean? What is that role, and why was it created? More importantly,
well, so obviously Knight Frank and Knight Frank Promise look after a vast amount of properties.
Yes.
But 9 times out of 10, it would be seconded out, and you'd have a facilities manager looking after maybe 3 or 4 different buildings.
Yes.
And then within that, you'd have a maintenance team from CBRE, from Integral, from Smart, wherever those companies may be. So they would look after that, or a mobile technical company would look after it.
Right. Okay.
In that sense.
Yeah.
This building that I'm looking after right now, which is Paddington Square, which is a new development outside Paddington, needed that subject matter expertise within the building management team,
right,
to ensure that your stat compliance was up to date, that you monitored what the contractors were doing within the building, because we've got 24/7 engineering there. So therefore, you have to have that level of oversight and management to ensure that the building is run as a smart and efficient building.
So it needed something different, would you say, basically?
Absolutely. Or they needed something different, or somebody different to fill that role.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm very, very proud of that fact that I was the first one.
Have there been more since?
So there's another technical services manager who I assisted and aided in employing,
right,
for another development in Canary Wharf that Knight Frank Promise have taken over.
Okay.
And again, it's a brand new building. We developed.
Yeah.
And Ed Trickett is the guy that we employed.
Right.
And he came across from Savills, but again, he was already doing that role.
Right. Okay.
This was a new role for me, because I'm an account manager with Integral, and this was a step up into the TSM role. But yeah, so there's me and Ed now within Knight Frank Promise, which is, and again, obviously the more instructions that they get, with regards to looking after the entirety of a building, which is part and parcel of the business plan. Yeah. Then those kind of building management teams that they've got employed now will be replicated across those buildings.
Right. Okay. So where would your role sit within the structure of Paddington?
So Paddington Square, we've got a fantastic building management team, probably the best management team that I've ever worked for.
Really?
Or worked with.
Right.
It really is dynamic.
Yeah.
Forward thinking.
Right.
Enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Always work with a smile on our face. It really is that kind of that family unit.
That's nice. That's nice, because you don't see that a lot in larger facilities.
And it was very, very. I think it was a very deliberate thing, because the GM, the general manager of the building, a guy called Steve Holmes, who's got a vast experience within the industry, started off as a Sparky.
Oh, really?
I don't like Sparkies, but we don't. No, sorry. I mean, we don't discriminate against Sparkies.
When's your D&I training?
Apologies to all the Sparkies out there. No, so
they won't be listening. They'll be having a tea break.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So Steve is like the dad. He's a GM, and he's got a vast amount of knowledge about and he never loses his focus. Right. He's absolutely, 100% focused on delivering. And again, I'll come back to that delivering that Rihanna used to that used to be her kind of mantra. Right. And then we've got Alex Hardingham, who's the senior building manager. So you've got Steve, Alex, and me. So Alex and myself will sit alongside each other. Yeah. So I'll look after mainly the hard services. Right. And Alex will look after mainly the soft services. So, but there is that kind of grey area.
The crossover.
That crossover piece where we have to work absolutely in synergy.
So I'm guessing that exposure that you had earlier in your career to soft services has helped you in relation to this.
I won't answer for Alex, but I hope so. I really hope so. But again, and that's another strong female. Alex is another strong female that I think, to be honest with you, the industry needs those types of leaders.
Completely agree. Brings a completely different perspective.
Absolutely. Because 9 times out of 10. The male perspective is, okay, it's great. We need that as well.
Yeah, not if you ask my wife.
Well, that's why I'm divorced, mate.
I just tell her she's right, man.
Yeah. So but we need that strong female presence, and Alex has got that in spades. Right. And then sitting underneath Alex is the retail and estates manager. Okay. Daria Gzelak. Yeah. And Daria's, superb.
Yeah.
She's mad as a box of frogs, but we love her. We absolutely love her, and she's very, very professional.
Okay.
And I've never seen anyone read 14 different deeds and take in all the information. That's what she did.
Really?
Incredible. Incredible.
Wow.
And then we have our facilities coordinator, who is Roxana Zook.
Right.
And Roxana is a young lady. She's 23 years old.
Yeah.
And this is where the mentorship comes in.
Right.
Where, all of us in that team are passing knowledge on to Roxana, because this is her first professional role.
Right.
And she's like a Hoover. She goes, right, okay.
Yeah.
Ali, come and show me this. Ali, come and then we'll do our walk rounds, and then I'll ask questions. I'll say, right, so what does that do, Roxana? What does this do, Roxana? What does that do?
Yeah.
Why do we have emergency light tests? Why do we have this? Why do we have that? Why do we have this? And then she's picking up all this information. So she's going to be a well-rounded building services manager.
Certainly sounds it. And, to be commencing that journey at 23 with people as experienced as, clearly the team is around her.
Yeah.
She will benefit significantly. And if she's, mad as a box of frogs.
No, Roxana's not mad. Darius.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting confused. I do apologise. Sorry, Roxana.
I only say that Darius is mad as a box of frogs because she'll listen to this and she'll kill me.
Yeah.
But Roxana is like I said, she's very kind of head on shoulders.
Right.
And she actually passed her NEBOSH last year.
Really?
Yeah. And so
is she giving you advice?
And she got a credit. So before Steve left to go to South Africa on holiday,
yeah,
his parting words for me was, you better get a higher mark than Roxana.
Ooh.
So the pressure's on.
Yeah, it sounds it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so I've got to get a distinction. Right? You're eating into my study time here, Mark.
Oh, right. Okay. I do know a little bit about health and safety. I can maybe give you some guidance in the pub after.
Yeah, exactly. That's my study time. That's
yeah. I can sort out some manual handling shit for you. Don't worry about it.
Where I sit it within that is, as far as I'm concerned, is I'm able to advise.
Yeah.
And I'm able to instruct.
Yeah.
Certainly when it comes to the technical side of things, but the difference in this role is that everything's turning out to this ESG and all that.
Yeah.
All that really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got at Paddington Square. It's 480,000 square feet.
Right.
It's a big glass cube outside Paddington Station.
It does look cool though.
It looks awesome. It looks awesome.
And isn't it built by the same people that built the Shard? Am I right saying that?
It is. It's the same developers, same construction principal contractor, and the same designer.
Okay.
So it was Cellar, Renzo Piano, and Mace.
Right. Okay.
So and they built the Shard. And they also built this one. So that's the way that one is.
Right.
And it's designed in exactly the same kind of structure in that it's a multi-use building.
Yeah.
There is 340,000 square feet of office space.
Wow.
There's about 100,000 square feet of basement level, and there's basement level and retail.
Right. Okay.
So you've got first floor, ground floor, concourse level, and basement level 1 is retail.
Mm.
So ground floor, first floor will be like restaurants.
Yeah.
Your 2 underground parts will be grab and goes, fashion, and then you've also got the Bakerloo line entrance, which is there as well, which is also paid for by the landlord. So
really?
So they've paid a lot of money
to bring the line in
there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the building's built on the old Royal Mail Group building,
right?
And there are so it's basically replaced that building,
right? Okay.
So this ESG thing has sort of exploded.
Yeah.
And we're now, so for example, normally, but back in the day, you'd have condensers and evaporators and all kinds of things for heating and cooling. Now it's an ambient loop, which is basically a heat battery. So the heat is rejected from this heat battery or absorbed by the heat battery.
Right.
So you don't have like loads of condensers and fans on the roof and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen anymore.
Okay, so from an ESG perspective, it's a quite interesting question, this, I think. So from an ESG because this building is, you know, in essence not completed yet, you're still going through the process and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, has that, from an ESG perspective, has that given you a slight advantage in terms of bringing new ideas to the table and implementing them?
So yeah, I think it's given us the opportunity to implement things like building analytics,
right,
at an earlier stage than perhaps like a redevelopment or if you were to take over a building, being that it's at the still in the final construction stages. Yeah, building analytics will allow you to say, okay, look how hot it is. Look at your hot spots here, there. Or you know, because it's a glazed building, it's solar gain is a massive thing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So you have to have lines that come up and down, and they're controlled by the azimuth of the sun and all this kind of stuff, right?
Really?
Yeah. It's very, very interesting stuff. But you know, I could send a glass eye to sleep on this kind of stuff. So from a building analytics standpoint, it gives you that opportunity at ground zero to have the ability to say, okay, we can analyse all the data and then spit out recommendations based on that data, which is fantastic from an ESG standpoint.
Yeah. So is there like artificial intelligence built into the system in terms of what you're?
No. So we were probably too late for that, right, or too early for that.
Yeah, yeah.
If you know, for want of a better word, so we didn't. The building has just been built. But it was designed 6 years ago.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So you know, the designers are always improving. So you know, by the time it goes on to the next new build, it'll be even more smart. And then your AI, that's where the AI will start to come in.
Yeah. So is some of the building occupied now?
So yes, we've currently got 2 floors occupied.
Right.
With regards to the office staff, we're fitting out 9 floors.
Right.
Currently, from the office standpoint, there will be the highest rooftop restaurant in West London.
Right.
That'll start fitting out imminently.
Right.
Some of your major brand coffee shops have started to fit out.
Right. Okay.
In the retail areas, there are a lot of fashion chains interested.
Yeah.
There's a couple of donut shops that want to get in there. There's a couple of barbers want to get
blinding. Get me an office.
You know. Like I said, Mark, you're more welcome to come anytime you want.
I'm going to come and work with you, Alan. You know what I mean? I'm going to come and sit on your knee.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I mean, and you've also got the bigger chain, higher end restaurants. Yeah. You know, like don't really want to mention names, but you know, like the Mexican restaurants and the Japanese restaurants that, you know.
So there's going to be a really good mix.
Yes, absolutely. There was plans for a brewery to be there, Mark, but they pulled out, and I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted.
Which brewery was it?
It was a.
Was it a Scottish one?
No. It wasn't. It wasn't Brewdog. It was the other Salt.
Salt,
which is up your neck of the woods.
Is it?
Yorkshire.
Whereabouts?
Oh, I can't remember.
The only one I know in Yorkshire is Black Sheep.
No, it's Salt.
Salt.
Check it out, Salt. Yeah.
Is it nice?
Beautiful.
Is it?
Stunning.
What is it? Beer or?
It's beer.
Is it beer?
Yeah.
Lager?
They do lager, they do ale, pale ale, so they do a lot.
How do I not know about this?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. You know now. Now.
I'm clearly too old. I don't go out enough.
I mean, I met the CEO.
Oh, really?
A guy called Jamie. Yeah, really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was really interested in this section of the building. Yeah. To put a brewery in, like a little show brewery and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It was going to be awesome, but they couldn't make it work.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which is a shame, you know. But yeah.
So what's the expected occupancy going to be of the building once it's fully completed?
Office-wise, it's going to be about the capacity is 3,500 people.
Wow.
Yeah, which is significant.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's capacity. But we don't envisage that ever happening because of modern working methods.
Yeah.
Flexible working, working from home and that kind of
stuff. Because I guess that's another question as well. Like obviously we're in the post-COVID years.
Yeah.
COVID changed how we worked. Did the building have to pivot at all after COVID? In terms of the plans and the workspaces.
I worked through COVID at 100 Bishopsgate,
right?
Because it was critical environments and it was financial industry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We were classed as key workers.
Right, yeah.
So we had to go to work. We had to be on. There was nobody else in the building.
Yeah.
So 100 Bishopsgate, massive building.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the building except us.
Yeah.
And there was like 4 of us in the building.
Were you having chair races along the corridors and things like that?
I refuse to comment on being incriminated.
As long as you had your mask on, you'll be fine.
So So I worked through that, and it was amazing the change. The post and pre. The pre and post.
Yes.
But this building, I think, although it was designed 6 years ago, the occupiers have designed their fit outs around this flexible working.
Right.
Because the fit outs happened
of course.
They first entered in December last year.
Yeah.
So the fit outs kind of are being designed around that flexible working piece.
Right. Okay.
Hot desks and all that kind of stuff.
So co-working spaces.
Exactly.
And things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when we're going to run out of time here, we can talk to you. I could talk to you for hours, Ali. When's the building expecting to be sort of PC'd? So fully completed.
Well, fully completed. Probably looking at April next year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So the final piece is going to be the London Underground piece.
Right.
Right. Because obviously, no retailer worth their salt is going to want to open a retail store without that footfall coming through from London Underground.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So you're talking. I think it's 113 million a year go through Paddington Station.
Ooh.
It's massive.
That is huge. I have to be honest, something? Paddington Station is my favourite station.
One of the best at it.
I just think it looks amazing.
It's incredible.
Look up at just the architecture and the roof.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, we when we initially went there, we were in serviced offices, so we were in TOG. In the TOG office. And it was, we were watching they were doing restoration around where the Elizabeth line is.
Yeah.
And they were doing restoration on the old Victorian kind of column. It was amazing to see, when they were pulling it back. And when we did our tours down into the LUL piece, into the London Underground piece, we were going into tunnels that hadn't been open for 100 years.
Wow.
It was incredible, and the tiles were immaculate. Mark.
Really?
Immaculate.
What, like just closed stations?
They just closed it. They just closed sections of it. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So they haven't had to dig additional tunnels?
They have.
They have,
but it was just basically joining one to the other.
Ah, okay.
So there was closed sections of the Bakerloo line.
Yeah.
I can't remember what platform it is, but they basically shut off a section.
Yeah.
And it hadn't been seen in 100 years. Really? And we were walking down going, wow, this is incredible.
I bet it was, yeah.
But again, those are the experiences and things that, like I said to you about the Heathrow thing with the tunnel going underneath. You don't see it, so you don't know it's there.
No,
but yeah, it was that was a really interesting thing to see. But but then from the engineering standpoint, I was looking at these columns, these steel columns, that are still in place, and there's no rust in them. Really? No rust.
Is that because there's no moisture down there?
I think it's because of the massive amount of lead paint that they put on.
Whatever you do, don't lick them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, listen. That brings us to the end of the podcast.
Oh, right.
I think, to be honest with you, mate, I think we could probably do another one with you. That was so interesting.
Thank you very much.
Especially in terms of your role at Paddington. I'd like to thank you for sharing the mental health stuff. That takes courage to do that.
Thank you very much.
Especially in a format like this. But thank you very much for sharing that. And yeah, that's it. How have you found it?
You know what? I thought I was going to be a lot more nervous than what I actually was. But yeah, I recommend this to any member of the FM community.
It's quite cathartic, isn't it?
It is quite cathartic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you that. It gives you that because I can talk for Scotland, mate.
Yeah, no, well, I think it's been so interesting, though, and to be fair, you've touched on points which we haven't really touched on in the show before. So
yeah, well, I mean, your colleague Ethan was talking about that before, that perhaps that there hasn't quite kind of been that technical.
There hasn't. We've had technical people, but like more contractor. So to speak about that technical role within facilities management and how it feeds into what facilities management companies are doing, for me is really, really interesting.
Yeah, and I know you come from the soft services side of things.
I do. Yes.
And that's why I specifically touched on the fact that when I experienced that soft service thing, it opens your mind to a whole new different thing.
Well, I am looking forward to my tour of Paddington, mate. Can I get to go down one of those tunnels?
I can arrange it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What, the old stations?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, of course I can, yeah.
Right, defo. We're doing that, aren't we, Heath? Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm a history buff, me. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, well, listen, Ali, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And, one day we'll do a panel show and we're going to get you back. Okay, well, listen.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Wear Many Hats listeners. Another really good, fantastic show. Huge thanks to Ali for coming on and sharing everything he did. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.